Yeah, it should be on live, huh? Hello, everybody. It's Creative Redundancy back here, also known as CR. Just adjusting my audio here. So I want to welcome everyone. Maybe my preview here. So this is a special late night stream with CR again. As you can see by the thumbnail, it will feature both things here in Canada and in the US. I'm bringing my camera up here. Even that I'm actually here. You'll see this, right? Right now, just like how Core and Care have CR in it, please keep people in your prayers right now again. Of course, if you can help in some way, try to show the people out there that they are not alone. Still, just two major things I want to talk about. I'm going to first talk about something that happening, was happening, or it's still happening, still occurring here in Canada, out west, and something that happened down south in the US. Now, I would like you all, the people out there, to be more alert, prepared more, as much as possible, and really help yourself. Yes, help yourself here. Do this. Create a better future starting today by doing something today. Being proactive and less reactive as much as possible. So I do see some people in that side chat. I do. Hello, everyone. I'm not to acknowledge you guys as much, but I do see you. I just want to whip over my fingers so I can see. Pop up my side chat here. So I do appreciate you all coming by. Just give me a second here. So yes, like I said, I'm gonna start off with something that happened here in Canada first. And remember to learn from these real life situations. Apply them to your own area, to your own life. No, I will say, things that I say, CR, what I'm saying in this stream, take every last thing, even what I'm saying right now, with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Understand these situations better. Understand them better overall. Because it might just help. So I'm going to start off, like I said, here, what's happening here in Canada. So I'll bring up this Maple Leaf. I did stream earlier in the week about this and wrote a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of that stuff is still happening or has happened. But basically, for some people in the US or my international audience don't know, I know most people here in Canada already know what this. There's been flooding out in British Columbia. That's in the Pacific time zone, by the way. Down in the southwest part of the province more. Fairly close to that international border from Canada and the US. Fairly close. Sorry, I have a script that I have written out. I'm trying to stick to it as much as possible. So that's why you don't see me looking directly at the camera, because I'm trying to see my notes here too, so I can stay on topic. There's still lots of water in this area. There has been some progress has been made. I've seen some of the repairs have been not per se made, but good enough for now, you know, to buy them time. And unfortunately, by the time you see this, it'll probably start raining there, because rain is expected there in the province throughout the week. I looked at the forecast. Generally, it's saying cloudy, chance of showers, or periods of rain. The amounts, well, you know, they probably vary from area to area, but right now, there's still water on the ground. You know, however tall, whatever, a foot, half a foot, 2 feet, whatever, 3 feet, 4 feet, it's still on the ground. So even if pumps are going, water is still eventually going to come in that area. So think of it like this in mathematical terms. If you're subtracting 2 from water, but you're still adding like 3 to the water, you know, you're still going to get a +1. So basically, it's still going to take a lot more time. A lot more time. So same with the side chat. Hello everyone. Hi to some of my channel moderators. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate it. Now, again, first responders, workers, people repairing stuff, fixing stuff. You know, you are truly awesome. May your strength not give out, I should say. May some luck be on your side some more. You know, keep going, plan, prepare, adapt, and help when you can. Take steps to ensure that you are more ready the next time. Improve your situation right now, starting today, at a second or whatever. The best you can with what resources you do have right now, whatever it is. You know, sometimes you can't just sit back and do nothing. You gotta do something. And this is why I'm doing this, to do something. However far my words can stretch, however far my video stretches, you know. So yeah, like I said, take steps to ensure that you're more ready the next time. Improve your situation right now. Now, I'm gonna provide some stuff in here. And like I said, consider these with a grain of salt. Adapt them to your own situation. You know, if you can't apply it to your own situation right now, well, maybe the next one. You know, hear me out. I'm no expert. I will say that straight up. I'm just a concerned individual who knows people, maybe even has people, friends, family, maybe even been in some of these areas. I know I've been out on the coast. I'm pretty sure I remember some of these roads to take and stuff like that. You know, seeing the nice people out there and stuff like that. So a couple of things I've kind of figured with flooding, for example, right? You know, even after a fact, what can you do? You know, honestly, prevention, preparing beforehand, being proactive is best. But what can you do now still? Is there still stuff you can do now to improve your situation? Well, I think so anyways. Hope maybe even doing stuff today, now, before something else happens or more happens, could reduce the overall impact. Again, proactive and giving some stuff to some forethought. Plan for more. What's the saying? Plan for more, hope for less, right? Some sort of saying like that. And again, like I said, take things with what I said with a grain of salt. Now, I mentioned about this, I think, because one of my subscribers, and I've seen entire information about this. It's about 30 liters right now. There's a honor system right now on it, about 30 liters per visit, which is understandable. Because right now, some of the connections for fuel, gas, is cut off or not available. So it's going to take some time to come back. Hence, this kind of 30-liter limit. And I was thinking to myself, what happens if I was in that situation? I have relatives out there. Are there steps you can take to ensure that any fuel that is there is used the best it can be? Buy time for something to come back, for said pipeline or whatever to come back. There's fuel at the station again. So I was just thinking to myself, well, try to use it as efficiently as possible. So I was just thinking to myself, some common sense things, or things you might already be aware of, like, let's just scroll back on my notes, sorry. Like, for example, maybe not idling as much, try to reduce the fuel that you do have to use as much as you can. So idling less. Maybe on those colder days, instead of warming up your engine or a vehicle for the 5 minutes, whatever, right? Maybe you bring a blanket in with you in your vehicle. Wear some warmer clothes than normal. So you can just take off right away. For example, carpooling. That could be an option, especially if you gotta still not be able to, you still have to work away from home. You have co-workers. Maybe they're even in the same neighborhood with you, right? Carpooling could be a way to, if I pick you, if your place, hey CR, your place is only a couple blocks away or whatever from my place. If I pick you up, we can split on the gas or the fuel, right? Or something like that. Or I'll take my vehicle this day, you take it the next day, and alternate back and forth, and maybe extend the fuel that you can't get or do have. Because also, I guess, fuel still costs something. Now, another thing I was considering is like proper tire pressure. Make sure your tires are inflated, so you get that nice glide, well, not glide, but roll. Proper tire pressure, improve the efficiency of using that fuel and stuff like that. Maybe not accelerating as fast as usual. Maybe it's you know what? I'll walk and bike this time. Maybe you might have fuel in your vehicle right now, but just considering everything, And I was also considering, from what I've heard, reports and stuff like that, since water's in these areas right now, clean water may be an issue. Now, hopefully, you would have ways to, per se, filter if possible, but some things are hard to filter out because you don't know what's in the water. And hopefully, you would have water stored in advance, and supplement our water sources you could get. So I was just thinking, if it's legal, but if it's an emergency, well, I was just thinking, if you don't have access to water from, per se, tap, or don't have much clean water right now, maybe consider gathering rainwater. It is supposed to be raining in this area. I just considering, I'm like, if I was in that situation, what would I do? I'd be like, well, we have a couple of gallons of water, CR. Not much left. We're not sure when we're gonna get some more water or whatever, but it is supposed to be raining, so maybe use the resource that is there, or might happen. Well, will happen. Raining, gather it. Filter it, boil it, and stuff like that. So obviously, it's probably gonna be cleaner than the surface water, because that surface water has a lot of runoff, other contamination in it that's not just biological, which you can't just boil. See, hi everyone in my side chat. I see you. I see you all. So I do appreciate you all hearing me out. So anyways, coming back to this water thing, I was just thinking, maybe you have like paper plates or whatever. Mostly not very environmental, but if you're limited on clean water, you might have to consider that. Now, I was just thinking, rainwater. If you can gather it or use it, I was just thinking, well, instead of using clean water per se, or drinking water, that purified water, that filtered water, that bottled water, for doing stuff at times, when possible, maybe use rainwater versus using that drinking water. And I was also thinking, in situations like this, since water is heavy, right? It's about over 8 pounds per gallon. Trucking water uses up quite a bit of fuel resources by itself to ship it. Well, not ship it per se, but to truck it in, drive it in, even fly it in, right? But if it's not needed per se, not needed, that could be helping someone else out, or somewhere that really desperately needs it. For example, so hear me out. Now, another thing I was thinking about in terms of the flooding in general is water damage. Things get wet. I mean, even here, I live in a higher level area, but there could be local flooding. Or if I go down south more, there's more chance of flooding because it's a lower lying area down south for me. But, and I'm considering, what happens if I ever move to a different area. These are things I should keep in mind. Hopefully these things would never happen, but I should keep these things in mind just in case. And again, to be proactive and less reactive. Give things some forethought. And hopefully this ounce of prevention I'm doing is going to be worth a pound of pain or a pound of cure, whatever. Yeah, a pound of cure. Yeah. So an ounce of prevention hopefully make an ounce a pound of cure. Yes. I tried to say it right. pretty sexy. Just not have a throat getting dry from talking. So, doing something valuable, whatever it is, that's up to you to decide. Maybe it's pictures, photos, important documents like insurance documents, ID, passport, stuff that, if you got it ruined, lost it, or damaged, or whatever, it'd be very difficult, a very strong inconvenience of replacing. Or it would take, weeks and weeks and weeks, right? Maybe driver's license, for example, right? Something like that. So, and prevent water damage or from getting wet, or mud, for example, right? Blood waters usually have sediment inside of it because it's been running or moving longer, so it's picking up sediment from the bottom and stuff like that, from the shore or from the edge, I guess, as it's running downhill, because water does erode as it flows, so it picks up debris and stuff like that, and that can harden around stuff. But if there's a barrier, there might be a chance you can still salvage that item if you couldn't bring it with you in the first place to you, per se, new place, your place that you're evacuating to, but these could be useful if you had to leave on a dime. Maybe it is still raining out. Maybe you didn't drop it in the water yet, but I don't want to get it wet in the rain either. So, anyways, so things like dry bags, some sort of water type of containers, if it can keep water in, it can keep some water out. Now, some of these are better than others. Maybe it's vacuum sealing something, right? Using some sort of food safe or whatever, vacuum sealing it into one of those clear bags that have the bumps and stuff on them. So maybe it's like your passport, for example. Something, you don't want to get damaged because it's going to be, extremely difficult, time consuming, a big hassle to get it replaced. Where something as simple as sealing it, for example, in, like I said, a dry bag, watertight container, vacuum sealing. Maybe you're iron sealing it, right? Like a normal iron that you would use for clothing, and you're sealing, per se, said plastic sheeting or bags with it. That might give you, and obviously bring it with you, but just in case something happens, it's still going to hopefully stay dry, and hopefully you can still get to it and retrieve it. Again, an ounce of prevention to hopefully make a pound of cure in this case. So let me just see the side chat. I do see you guys in the side chat. Let me just pop up my side chat a little bit more. I do appreciate you all dropping in on this one. Just give me a sec. Just popping on my side chat here so I can see it a little bit better. Let me know if you guys can. The volume should be good. No one's complaining. Let's wait a moment here. I do see you all. Now, if you want to drop in something on the comments right now, if you're catching this on the replay, or if you're watching this while it's live, please leave something on my side chat. I will try to bring them in. And I do welcome the input. Okay. Continuing on here, making sure or not. Wait 1 sec here. Yeah. Just have to see how far. I don't want to go too long with this stream, but I do want to make sure the information is said. Because it's the information to consider here. Anyways, coming back to this, keeping things dry from flood waters, from water damage, mud, stuff like that. So things like sleeping bags, blankets, keeping clothes dry, right? If those things are dry and you have them with you, you'll probably be in a better off situation. Because right now, in the southern part of the province right now, I've checked on the temperature. Right now, it's near or close to the freezing point in some places. And you know what happens when water starts to freeze? It does start to expand. Now, in a greater body of water, that takes a lot longer, and if the water's moving, it'll take a little bit longer, but let's consider anything that's been soaking with water, for example. Just something to keep in mind. Now, in keeping everything dry, paper goods, items, maybe it's photos, maybe it's, that spare emergency use of TP, make sure you keep that TP dry. I had to throw that in. But on a serious note, dry foods, right? Because you want to keep them dry as much as possible. Maybe it's double bagging it, double sealing it, just in case, right? Stuff like flashlights, batteries, battery bank, maybe even with a dedicated charger from water damage. These may help. I'm not going to guarantee it because obviously as the water increases in height or above, let's say it's all the way at the bottom, your said item, if the water pressure increases, it's as good as the seal. If the seal's good, you might be able to handle it where, for example, where I threw something in a 55-gallon rain barrel, it's full of water, and I can have something at the bottom still dry. That'd be nice. That'd be nice to know that. To know that I could do that. Maybe one less thing to worry about. You feel like, hey, I thought ahead. Maybe I sealed it in a resealable, not a sealable baggie, but vacuum sealed it or iron sealed it in plastic per se, and put that in a dry bag. I feel a little bit more confident. Maybe a little bit less stress. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad I thought ahead. That was a good call, And like I said, consider everything I say with grain of salt. And now consider having disinfecting or cleaning anything in contact with flood water, because flood water probably has microbes in it and all that stuff, right? You know what happens? Microbes reproduce in liquids a little bit better than if it's dry. Now another thing is, if you were to move in these areas, check the ground, right? You have no idea how solid the ground is. It's been saturated, so it could give way. So if you're not sure, go test it up. Go probe it first, right? Before you start driving over it, for example. Make sure, hey, it's good to go, right? Make sure it's good to go. That way you're taking the right precautions. A little forethought. More proactive, less reactive. Let's see. And of course, your emergency go bag, your emergency car kit ready to go. Stuff inside, just in case. even if one of these things help you over time, or at this time, or in the future, isn't it worth it to have or a try at least? I mean, as like I said, and also prevention is worth a pound of cure, as they say. Now there may be other ideas, things to consider, of course, but these may save those important resources, buy you valuable time that you need while things try to come back, right? Because some of these things may take days, weeks, even longer. So you gotta buy time for the stuff, infrastructure, and all that stuff to come back. So give it that time, give it the best chance possible, and consider what I just said with a grain of salt, but do consider these things. Let me see here. Let me bring up my side chat here. Okay. Just making sure everything's good. Now, this is gonna be the second part of this stream. Let me just see. It just happens to be at a long halfway point. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna get rid of this here and put my heart one up. Right? The CR, whenever things have CR in it, care, core, comfort, right? Now, in the US, I guess that would have been Sunday. Now, what I say here is going to be very, well, let's just say there's a tragic event that happened at a Christmas parade. There is news on it, or you will see it on it. And that doesn't see some words in here. Yes, you can do your own research, like I said. And be aware that the videos are graphic and will contain coarse language. I'm pretty sure you will see that. You don't see that, so it's an FYI. You may not want to show it to younger people, per se. Now, this kind of thing actually has happened here in Canada. I know it has. It hasn't even been that long. Maybe only a few years now. That's why all of us need to learn from these. I'm not saying, get right into it, but I'm also not saying just shrug it off. Just because it's up there, it's over there, it'll never come over here. Can't say that, because things do happen. Maybe it's not the exact same thing, but it could be a different or similar thing. So maybe adapt some of these ideas. And like I said, consider these with a grain of salt. No expert. I am only suggesting things to consider. Like I said, think ahead, proactive, less reactive, more forethought, less in hindsight. Where well, basically, I'll just say it here. Now, these things happen. These kind of things happen very fast, with little or no time to react. Is there things we can learn from it? See, I think so. First and foremost, I want to say prayers. They have a heart, yeah, and applaud the state prophets for this, right? Heart, right? Let me put it to the right side. Okay, this is my lap, by the way. I'll bring this up while I say this. Prayers to everyone affected by this. It is very sad indeed. Now, what happened? There's videos on it. You can see it. There's, you won't miss it. It's very apparent as soon as you see it. It was drawn to my attention, and I wanted to talk about this anyways, because I was going to be talking about what I said above, like a couple of minutes ago, but I decided to add this portion into it because it related in, because I think it's important too, and I'm already talking about stuff. So, anyways, in these kind of situations, one would have to react to this in mere seconds, if even possible. This thing, you'll see the stretch of video. It's about 20 seconds, maybe half a minute. I don't have a lot of time to react. Let alone get something ready, get a response ready, stuff like that. Many of us would be terrified or in this fight response. Some may panic, per se. Some may freeze, alright? It does happen. And I know that, stuff like cursing, yelling, WTF. These are going to be natural responses to something similar to this. Shock, right? All common. All I would expect to see it. Stuff like that. Hopefully, I might even say it. I'm pretty sure I would too. I'd be yelling, maybe, and stuff like that. But I would also remember that what's happening at that time, or if it did happen or whatever, pray it doesn't, right? But just in case, I would try to hopefully remember that me yelling, screaming, cursing isn't very constructive to the situation. I need to reroute this energy I do feel into something constructive to help the situation, in my honest opinion. Honestly, it's easier said than done, obviously. No one would know until they're in that situation. If you had training in situations like these, you might default to training and stuff like that. Yeah. Like you learned and stuff like that. I would hope people would, sorry about that. I would hope people would remember that if people are able to help others in situations like these. Let me rephrase that. I would hope people would remember that if they are able to help, try to. Honestly, especially if you are trained in medical, you have knowledge, skills too, of these, whatever it is, right? Could be useful. So, in a situation like this, maybe you're thinking ahead and being like, maybe we shouldn't move people right now, but we need to check their pulse, right? Make sure they got a heartbeat, but still circulation, right? Are they breathing? I guess that ABC and there's a DE and all that stuff, simple things hopefully you would know more, right? Common things that hopefully many of us would keep in mind, Because for me, if I saw those, they happened right in front of me. I was one of the lucky ones. Made sure everyone else is still good, right? I'd be like, if I was helping others, I would consider these. No, but that said, you know, sorry. And of course, try to find people that can help, like a doctor or a nurse. Maybe, you know, is there a nurse around? Say it out loud, right? Maybe you get that word of mouth out and that you need it. And maybe someone could be like, down the line, a couple shelves down the street or whatever hears that, and it's like, yeah, I'm a doctor, and they can hopefully help you out. So whoever's injured is even in better hands, right? You can help that they, the best help that you can get them. Maybe you don't know a lot, but you can find someone that can help. Now, with all this said, because there is this video on this shaky camera phone stuff, but and it's very graphic, and there's coarse language by it. But I was just thinking to myself, so this just happened. What would be my response to that? And I was just thinking to myself, okay, maybe you can't help people that are injured because you're not trained or whatever, but maybe you're helping people get to a safer location. Maybe the street's not safe right now. Maybe being outside's not safe right now. So you're sheltering in place, finding a place that's safer, right? Where you can feel secure enough in that place, right? And hopefully it would be like somewhere where you can trust someone to defend it, just in case. Hopefully it wouldn't come to that, right? That way, at least, maybe they're probably in a safer zone over here, in a building, in this case, for this example, off the street, off the main area. And I was considering, I'm like, well, if people aren't in the way, that means first responders, I'm talking about firefighters, ambulance, police, and all of that stuff, can actually get access to these people that are injured. They don't have to, make sure people get out of the way for obvious reasons. So I was just thinking, but yeah, it seems okay. I'd probably consider that. Now, let's see where else. Oh yeah, like I said, get people off the street, inside and stuff like that. Because again, assume there may be more. Right? Assume the situation. If a situation just went sour real quick, maybe expect plan, plan for more and hope for less. Something I'm saying right there. And like I said, this would allow emergency vehicles to come in. There'd be room for them to come in. Room for them to take off too. Access to that hospital and stuff like that. That's why even in normal day-to-day stuff, right? I mean, I'm gonna give an ambulance, emergency vehicle right away, let them pass, right? Move my vehicle off to the side, whatever it is, right? Because I know that whoever's inside is probably in serious condition or it's really important. And it could be someone you know too, right? It could be someone you know that you would never know, especially if you're in a town or whatever, right? Could be possible. You would not know until like 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later until you get that call later. So, just thinking it like that. Well, I know because it's a very serious situation, and from what happened, and there's lots of witnesses, lots of people saw this. People are probably seeing this online and stuff like that. There's videos out there. I know, like I said, there's some graphic content, coarse language, right? So that's to be said. So people will feel something, you know. Maybe it's, to put into a word or words or an acronym, in this case, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I'm thinking to myself, now's the time to hear them out, you know, be there for them, too. It's, like I said, they've seen something very traumatic, horrific, even, something they might even see for a very long time, and stuff like that, you know. And it's very unfortunate that they had to see it like that firsthand, you know. And they might even be like thinking of, they were the lucky ones for it, per se, If it's just once, if I didn't, decide to move back from this spot, if I decided to, what would happen if I was in the center, not on the side more, right? They might feel that kind of stuff. And like I said, they've witnessed horrible things, you know. Some of them could really use a friend right now. They could, support them. I guess you can, Also, words aren't just words, but just sometimes just showing that people are there for you, that you're not alone in situations, that someone still cares enough to hear you out. Sometimes that might not be all that's needed, also, but it might help them. You know, you know, if that makes any sense. So I do appreciate everyone dropping in on this stream. And thank you for everyone hearing me out on this. Like I said, things I've said in this, take with a grain of salt. Consider it for yourself. Adapt these to your own situation or your own area. Learn from the past. Learn from these things. So, like always, everyone, be more proactive out there. Something like a go bag, car kit could be useful. I mean, imagine if you had medical supplies back in your car and you had to help someone you loved. These supplies could be helping you. Depending on the situation and stuff like that, right? These could be helping you. Obviously, seek professional training for first aid and stuff like that. Obviously, learn the equipment, learn how to use it and stuff like that. Do the best you can. Do the best you can in situations. Learn more skills, knowledge, but it does help when you have a tutor with you too, right? You don't have to recreate something or improvise as much, because you could be helping not only a loved one, but not only a friend or someone, but loved ones, people you care about, stuff like that. And another thing here is, let's just make sure I have this up here. Sorry, put this down for a moment here. Remember, know, stay alert out there. I'm not saying watch your six every single second, but be aware of what's going on. For example, you're seeing a vehicle zoom down while everyone's going slow. There's no sirens, no nothing, alright? Nothing that suggests if it's emergency vehicle. Maybe consider something is happening. Consider that. Be aware of your be aware of your surroundings. Have your exit plans or strategies in place. Know a couple of exit plans just in case things go sour. Hopefully it would never do it. It would never go sour. But having these plans, considering them in advance, may give you that valuable split section reaction to go this way instead of that way. Because you planned it out and it's like, well, along this route, this way is actually quicker, for example, right? Let's see what other things could I feel for right now. There's probably more. I know there's more. Leave me a comment in the comment section, right? And if you think I'm wrong or something like that, feel free to say that too, right? You said, I'm no expert. These are just things I'm just considering. Because, like I said, maybe it won't happen to me, but it could be something that happens to a loved one. A loved one in another place. Someone you know. Someone you care about. And to me, I would like them to know more to give them the best possible chance, just in case someone goes south, someone goes sour. Because to me, it would be nice to know that I tried at least. I tried to share that information with them instead of keeping it all up here or saying it only to certain people. So at least I know, I did the best I could to that in hindsight. You're probably wondering, hey, CR, why bother? Or why even care enough, right? Because it's because I do. It's not only because care has CR in it, because, well, I know people. And people know people. People of those people know people. So I feel like I know people now. Maybe I've never met certain people. Stuff like that. But I get to understand that there's still people out there. Maybe not everything's great out there right now, but we, the people, you, me, you guys watching, many of you can be so much more, lead by example as much as possible. Show that there's still humanity out there. I guess I'm going to use that word for lack of a better word. So, yeah. Anyways, everyone. It's coming up to the 1 hour mark here. I do appreciate everyone hearing me out on a special late night stream with CR featuring something that happened. Well, featuring something happening here in Canada and happening in the US, and learning from the experience. And like I said, consider everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research, get knowledge, skills, stuff like that. Because they may be more useful than even the gear. The gear might change, might even not have the right gear, but the skills and knowledge could be still applicable. Where, and you're making use of what you do have. So take care, everybody. Drop that in. Of course, Kara has CR in it. Now, I'm actually gonna bring. Well, I was actually thinking of bringing both outros out, but I was afraid of what. But all you people can create a better future starting today. Do what you can. Be alert. Stay proactive. Prepare. Give things some forethought. Because it just might give you that edge that you need a little bit more. Keep people in your thoughts, in your prayers and stuff like that. In your thoughts and your prayers. Keep them in here, right? Do what you can. And like always, as our world changes, I'm gonna bring both of them up. Like I said, as our world changes, we will adapt to. Our skill and knowledge will get better with practice. We can't help everyone, but we can help someone out there. Take care, everyone. Peace out from the one that cares, has a CR in it. Take care, everyone. Thanks for hearing me out.